Hello, my darlings. This is Amish Patel, CEO of the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation, and today I got a bit of an embarrassing story. I'm going to tell you guys a story about this one time I got cock-blocked by an auntie, dude. I got cock-blocked by an auntie, and it's an embarrassing story for me, if I can be totally honest with you guys. But I was just telling some friends the other day, and the laughs were up. You know what I'm saying? And here at the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation, you know that our corporate mandate is to ensure that laughs are up in the culture and in the community. So I kind of my hands are tied on this. I got to tell you guys a story. And when I say auntie, I just want to be clear before while I'm telling you guys about this. When I say auntie, what that means, the reason I'm saying it with that accent, when someone says auntie with that accent, what that means basically is actually it's a very respectful term for an Indian lady of a certain age. But if they're not of that age yet, then it's a very disrespectful term. And what exactly is that age? Well, I'm not here to disclose that. I'm not touching that, dude, because depends on the auntie. But I'll say this: if you're gonna go out on the street and just cock block someone that you don't even know, that's an auntie move, dude. That's a hard auntie move. So that's the story that I want to talk about today. But before we get into that, let's do a quick little laugh audit here at the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. Did a bunch of great shows this week. Bunch of great shows. Arch Brewers Company. Great show. I'll put up their thing here. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Great venue. I don't drink beer, but I'm sure the beer was great, and it was probably fresh because they were making the beer right there too. They were making the beer, and we were making the laughs. The comics were making the laughs, and they were making the beer. And very well produced show. It was great. Had a lot of fun doing it, and it was in Newmarket. And I'm always impressed when I go to a small town and people are they're just down to go out, man. You know, and it makes me feel like Toronto. Like sometimes I go to these small towns and I feel like maybe Toronto is just a bunch of losers, because that's how they feel in Montreal. You go to Montreal and they're way cooler. And you go to London, Ontario, and shows are packed. Not only the comedy shows packed when you go out, when you drive an hour outside of Toronto, but also people are having sex a lot more. And people aren't just always in a rush, You come to Toronto, everyone thinks they're so important and they're so busy and they got all this and that to do. And it's like, okay, but no one, is anyone having sex even? No, laughs are down, sex is down, outrage through the roof, and it's starting to make me feel that these small towns, man, Newmarket, that crowd looked like they were banging like crazy, dude. They looked like they were doing it a lot. They had that kind of joy for life, and sometimes I just don't see that joy in Toronto. So anyway, great show out there. And then I just did Sunday Best. Tamara Siobhan's show, great show, Corner East Comedy Club. Shout out to them. Great, that was an incredible show, and it was great. Like all the comics were great on it too, as usual. If Tamara puts on a show, it's always going to be a bunch of banger comics on it. And I like that she called it Sunday Service. It's called Sunday Service because God is great, brother. God is great, and obviously she knows that because she made her comedy show called Sunday Service, and it's basically like we're going and we're not preaching, but I think I think we are doing the Lord's work. That's for sure. If you're a comedian, I think you are doing the Lord's work, quite frankly. If I can say that, I think we're doing God's work here. And so Tamara's show was a banger one. That show was good, the Arch Brew Pub one. And then just a great show at Social Capital Theater. Great show run by Amar and Hanif Jaita over there. Banger show, and that was a lot of fun because initially there was like nobody even there, or like people weren't even, whatever. Like it was initially maybe there wasn't too many. It was one of those shows that goes on for hours, but it's an open mic and it's kind of a service to the culture and to the community. And those two brought the heat, dude. That Hanif and Amar, they really brought the heat on that show. It was a lot of fun, and it was a real banger. I'm gonna say that. And so that was a good one that I did. And then this week coming up, I have a show at called Liberty Laughs, I think, with Himanshu Patel. And some of my friends have been saying, who's this bald-ass, broke-ass version of Amish Patel? Who is this guy? some of my friends are kind of mad that there's a new bald Patel on the scene, and they're like, "Who is this broke ass Patel, dude? Who is this broke ass poor man's version of Amish Patel new on the scene, man? Let's take him out. Let's get rid of him." And I said, "You know what, man? Let him do his show. Looks like he's putting on a good show over there, and he's a nice dude. So come on, what are we gonna do? We're gonna muscle him out just because he's a Patel, just because he's brown? No, that's my brother. And I'm not even saying that because he's a Patel. I'm saying that because we're all the children of the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? This is a culture, this is a community, and we have to, come on, we're a bunch of goddamn haters over here. I've always found that when someone's life is going good, that's the least haterish. That's the least haterish. And then when people are like kind of not really doing well, that's the real haters. That's the real haters. And no, it was a tough couple of weeks for me because I had to go to a couple of funerals, and I mean, it just, when people, first of all, and this is going to be, this is honestly pretty selfish of me, but at the end of the day, the funerals, you know what they do? I know I have to be sad for the people who are closer to the people who passed away, but it makes me sad that we're going to die, right? It's like this reminder that we could just go, and it's kind of bummed me out a little bit. Kind of bummed me out, if I can be honest, because sometimes people pass away and you have this feeling of like, hey, life's precious, live every minute, go for it, do it, go to the top, make it happen, all that stuff. But then sometimes people die and you just go, well, we're just going to die, right? What's the point? It's a lot of work, people. Putting these videos up for the community, a lot of work. What if I just die tomorrow? But I'm a positive guy, generally speaking, and I'm going to stay on the positive side of that and say, listen, while we're alive, we got to do the Lord's work here. Got to do the Lord's work and make sure laughs are up and outrage is down and profits are through the roof. And that's basically what we do here at the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. So make sure if you like the show and if you agree with the mandate, make sure you go over to laughsarup.com, join the mailing list, kick in a little cash. We got some great investment opportunities over at patreon.com/laughsarup. And to share it. That's kind of what we need more. Like, that's very important. Watch it, share it. That's my most important thing. You know what I'm saying? Watch the show, share it with your friends. I would really appreciate that if you could do that. Because, look, like I said, it's very important work we're doing. Okay, the laughs need to be up in the culture and in the community, especially now. And especially, like, it does seem like people are very divided. It seems like people are divided in a way. Man, I'm just like going on YouTube a lot just to try to find things to talk about. And there's a lot of like Canadian politics stuff I want to talk about. There's a lot of Jordan Peterson stuff. People are very divided on that. A lot of dudes love him. A lot of dudes are these secret undercover Peterson fans. But if you listen closely, he's kind of firing shots at women. So a lot of women are like, what is this guy about? What is this? And then they're kind of mad that, like, why are you guys into that guy? And the outrage on that is way up. And I think it's his fault, to be honest. I think he has a lot of outrage in him, too. He acts like he's the one always in trouble, and he's the one who's always getting, people are always getting mad at him. But he can be very dramatic and very outrageful, if that's a word. And we'll get into that in another video. But it does feel like people are getting more divided. Actually, what's actually interesting is that I recently found, because I remember for a while there's this wave of like Jordan Peterson fans, and then there's all these lefties just putting up diss videos on Peterson, right? And they're good, like they're right, okay? As far as PD Pops is concerned, I would say with PD Pops, I'd say look, he's got like 50-60% of his stuff is like decent, like is good self-help material. Kind of cliche, but like it's good self-help. Can't really argue with it. He's got videos like Stand Up Straight and Clean Your Room. You can't really argue with Stand Up Straight, Clean Your Room, right? I would say like 30-40% of his stuff is actually quite profound. It's pretty interesting, okay? But then with that, he's smuggling in a 10%. it's hard to describe, because it's very passive aggressive how his like how he's okay. Here's how I'll put it: 10% of his stuff, 90% of his stuff is like decent to like harmless cliches. 10% of his stuff is kind of like this. Okay, if you're a dude, here's the thing: if you're a dude, he thinks you can stand up and fight back and take on the world and be a man and walk like the Lord. He thinks you can do it, man. And he's got some banger motivational videos because of that. Some of the motivational videos are bangers, dude. But if you're a woman, he thinks you should just go home and have kids. That's what he thinks. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be some backlash on that. That's basically what he thinks, that if you're a woman, you should go home and have kids. And that's what you really want to do, too. And you're just, come on, dude. Come on, dude. We're not doing that anymore. And a lot of people are mad about that. And, and the culture is very divided over it. I'm actually surprised at how many Canadian hard right-wing thinkers are Canadian. It's not just, it's like, and he won't even admit that he's right-wing. He's the kind of guy that's like, how dare you call me right-wing? I'm not right-wing. When I logically think about every situation, I end up on the right-wing side. But how dare you call me right-wing? Who do you think you are? Call me a conservative? No, but when I logically think about every situation, the logical conclusion to every problem in the world is the solution is the conservative side. But how dare you? He's kind of got that kind of attitude. And we'll get into that in another video, I think. I don't want to go too much deeper into that right now. But another thing that we got to talk about on the show is all of the Canadian, I call them, there's some big Canadian hitters in the right-wing game. There's some big, we think Canada's a bunch of cutie boys. We think Canada's a bunch of Trudeau, Biebs, Drake. We think Canada's a bunch of cutie boys. Bunch of Canadian cutie boys. Well, let me tell you something. We got some of the hardest right-wing hitters in the game, dudes. We got some of the hardest right-wing hitters in the game. Specifically online, and I'm talking about millions of hits, lots of followers. These right-wing maniacs took the game, baby. On the internet, they took it. They took it. I'm sorry. The lefties are starting to make a comeback, and some of them are putting up some good diss videos to really counteract, if you could call this a war of ideas. There's some lefties coming back with the heat right now. There's some people that are straight up communists, dude. Commies. And I'm not a communist, but sometimes the way right-wing people talk about that stuff, where they're like, oh, well, if you're a communist, I'm going to do whatever. Sometimes when I hear like these little right-wing people talk about communists, I feel like saying, screw you, dude. Maybe I'm a communist, dude. Maybe I'm a rock and roll dude communist. Rock and roll, dude. I'm a commie. What are you going to do about it? It's a free country. I'll be a goddamn communist if I want. But some of these right-wing guys, like, they get so upset about it that it makes you want to go, screw you, dude. And I think that's creating a bigger, this is what I mean by the culture is becoming more and more divided, where these right-wing people for a long time were not only they were the outrage people, like not only with the homophobia and a lot of like women's rights stuff, women's access to birth control, that kind of stuff. They were very like hard with that. I think, here's what I think happened. I think in the 70s, Reagan, I think it was Reagan, he really kind of almost, you could say he kind of signed a deal with the devil, which is an interesting choice of words, but he kind of signed a deal with the devil by reaching out to the very religious community, and he let the super religious community into the right-wing team, into the Republican team, and they kind of took it over. That's kind of how it feels. But when they first came in, it seemed like back then, and I wasn't alive, but maybe you guys can tell me, but it seems like the lefties were coming to the table saying, okay, what's the best way to fix this? And these right-wing people were coming to the table with like, I'm here, the Lord is going to ask me why I didn't stop the gays. Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they came hard first, and now it feels like, this is just a theory, but now it feels, so after 30, 40 years of the right-wing people being all the outrage and being all the like, we're going to fight and we're not going to let you pass a bill and we're going to fight, like, fighting against gay marriage, fighting against like abortion rights, all that stuff. After 30, 40 years of that, it seems like now the lefties are like, okay, well, we got to go hard, baby. We got to, no more Mr. Nice Guy. We got to go hard. We got to fight fire with fire. And now the lefties are basically like right-wing people now. There's even lefties that are getting guns and stuff. It's a scary time. I mean, I know that every generation does this. Every generation acts like, oh, things have never been this bad. This is the worst than it's ever been. Every generation does this, but at the same time, it is a little scary when the lefties start getting guns. And I'm not saying, and obviously I'm a lefty myself, but I'm all about that peace and love lefty. Bring the culture together, bring the community together lefty, but there's also a new hard lefty that's like, no, these guys are psychopaths, and we got to bring the heat on them. And I don't want to goddamn hear it. There's some lefties that are bringing the heat like that right now, and that does seem scary a little bit. But anyway, I was just saying that Canada has a lot of hard right-wing people in the game. Some of the biggest right-wing hitters in the game, I think, are Canadian. We're talking about Jordan Peterson. Like I said, he won't admit that he's right-wing, but on every issue, he comes out on the right-wing side. He just came out with a bunch of videos saying that he doesn't think climate change is real. Actually, not that he doesn't think climate change is real. This is a new form of climate change now, where he's not even saying, like, I don't think climate change is real. He's saying, okay, fine, it's real, but you can't do anything about it. Fine, climate change is real, fine, but if you do anything about it, you're an idiot. What are you, stupid? Where's everyone going to work? Without oil. How's the whole machinery going to run of the civilization? How are we going to keep this thing going without oil? No, just shut your dumb mouth. Germany tried that with their wind and their solar. Don't even touch it. Don't even try it. Don't even think about it. I'm telling you, he has a video. He just came out with a video. And I was recently on a podcast with and the people who run the podcast are big Peterson fans. And I didn't even realize, but they started yelling at me because I think climate change is real. Are you kidding me, dude? Climate change is real. I mean, we're in Toronto. We're in our 30s. We're comedians. I had no idea that you could be not only not believe in climate change. Like, I can understand maybe you think it's not, whatever, but you're yelling because you don't think climate change is real. And then after the podcast, one of the guys in the podcast was one of the guys from that podcast, who was like, it was like three of them. Two of them are just yelling at me because they're like, are you stupid? How could you be so naive and think that climate change is real? Are you an idiot? Where's everyone going to work? Where's everyone going to work? The oil, we have to rely, it's oil. Like, the whole thing's based on oil. Like, I don't know, I guess that's their kind of argument, is that, like, wind is never going to work. You're stupid. You're naive, whatever. But anyway, after the whole podcast was over, then the other guy, who didn't really talk much, he doesn't really get into politics, but the other guy who was there the whole time, the other dude goes, hey, Amish, your views have become pretty extreme. What? Because I think climate change is real. Because I'm with the scientists on climate change. This is a big issue in the community, people. People like Jordan Peterson, huge followings, huge influence. He puts out a video saying, okay, stop with all this climate change talk. Why are you complaining about that? It's never going to work. Even with Cortez, who every time I hear her talk, I'm like, this woman is the goddamn truth, people. Someone in America is finally sticking it to the man, dude. Someone in America is finally saying, screw you, dude. We got to change the system. And it might take some radical change. And it might be a lot of hard work, but we got to change it, man. I mean, it's just, we're at that point. And I was surprised because when I did this podcast, this dude was just off the top, like before we even got into the conversation about climate change or anything, off the top, this guy just as like, when someone just does a right wing, like not a right wing hit, just like an offhand hit, where he was talking about something else, and he goes, yeah, idiots like Cortez think this, but they're idiots. Like he was talking about one subject, but then he just took a side shot over at Cortez. I think it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I think incredible work. But these guys are just, I guess all three of them are going, this is what I mean by the culture is becoming, I think, more divided. All three of these guys were so on board with just dissing Cortez that was part of his setup for a conversation was, idiots like Cortez. Like, he didn't even have to explain it. I was the only one sitting there going like, why is Cortez? I think she's great. But it just shows you that people are kind of in their own echo chambers. Like everyone that I know thinks she's amazing, and I thought maybe some hard Republican in America, or from some small town maybe might not like her, but then there's like these Toronto comics, and they're all just like, oh, that idiot, right? Like they all were in agreement with that, and that was just like a part of the setup to like another point that he's making. You know what I mean? So anyway, I looked her up a little more after that because I kind of just walked away from that podcast feeling like, what's this beef with Cortez even? First of all, like what's this? You don't believe in climate change? Like I thought everyone in Toronto just thinks that's real, And by the way, if like you're yelling at me, like how do you walk down? These guys are yelling at me because they think climate change is real. How do they walk down the street in Toronto? Everyone in Toronto thinks climate change is real. They get basically everyone. Anyway, but Cortez is another thing that I want to look up. So I look up Cortez, and I'm trying to figure out like why people don't like her. And here's basically, if I can sum it up, why people don't like Cortez. Basically, people don't like Cortez because they're like, what is she? What, she believes in things? What is she, stupid? That's basically it. Like she's calling out things that like she's calling out military industrial complex, the pharmaceutical giants, lobbying in government, like just big money things that are so entrenched that even have taken over the left wing, like even taken over the Democrats over there. And she's calling that out and doing like the day-to-day work. Like she's going into Congress and saying, hey, this is why, here's some corruption happening in the pharmaceutical industry. They've paid off everyone in the right-wing party. They paid off everyone in the left-wing party, and the people of America are not being served. Whatever. Like she's coming in with these bangers speeches, man. She's coming in hard with these speeches. They're so good too. And basically, all of the arguments against her are like, oh, what does she believe in things? What are you, stupid? No, this is politics, idiot. Okay, this is how politics works. Okay, you get a donor. The donor pays for the ads. The ads get you elected. And then once you get the elected, you have to do what the donor says, so the donor gives you more money. That's basically American politics now. That's basically lobbying-based American politics, and she's not following that. And basically everyone in America right now is saying, what is she, stupid? What is she, a communist? She's a communist. She doesn't know basic economics. Basic economics means you get the money from the donor, you use that to buy your votes through the ads, then you get elected and do what the donor told you to do. That's how politics works. Are you stupid? I mean, I guess a lot of it is her basically saying, if you're a big evil, again, like just calling out these big corporations and being like, look, man, you haven't paid any taxes. Amazon didn't pay any taxes last year. Is someone going to say shit to them? And just now I saw Tim Pool did a video about dissing her, where and his video was basically him finding an article from an economist saying Cortez doesn't know anything about the economy. But look, man, I get what, like, you hear them, but the underlying message is like, I don't know, man. I guess it's hard. How do you get this through to people? Like, yeah, she does. Like, basically, they don't understand someone who's saying, I don't care about these stupid jobs. Fuck your jobs. If you're not going to pay any taxes in this country, then go fuck yourself. Like, if you want, and what the rest of them I feel like don't understand is, I don't know, it's like the rest of them are just kind of giving in. And she's the only one who's willing to say, like, no, we're not going to take your jobs then. Like, she's willing to take a real principled stance, and I think a lot of people are just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, that's the only argument I can see. Oh, the only other argument that I saw was, I saw a video about her new Green New Deal, and the Green New Deal argument was basically she comes out with the Green New Deal, and even the Democrats are not even arguing the merits of the deal. The Democrats are like, oh, but everyone's going to, if we do this, everyone's going to call us a communist. So don't even, it's not realistic. Like, even the Democrats, man, are basically like, oh, well, don't, what are you, crazy? Like, where's we got to get the money from somewhere, and then the Republicans are going to call us communists, and then everyone will think we're communists, so let's not do that. You know what? I'm so sick of this shit with the communist talk. I'm not a communist, but you know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm a fucking communist then. If you're going to be a dick about it, if every time someone tries to make a logical, rational argument about something, and it's not just like, okay, where's the money? Where's the money? Oh, you're a communist. Okay, well then fuck you. I'm a fucking communist then. Can we have a goddamn conversation? This is why the Americans have nothing good. Not nothing good, but this is why the Americans don't have health care, and this is why they have to go to Vietnam, and this is why they have their military-industrial complex, because, the communism. Stop, man. These communists were never going to come, you psychos. Anyway, that's classic Amish getting into politics. We're gonna get into all that in another episode probably. But right now, let's get back to this cog blog by the Aunty, man. Cog blog, dude. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but it's kind of an embarrassing story because when you get cog blocked, there's always the underlying doubt in people's minds. There's always the underlying doubt that maybe you were being weird, dude. There's going to be that doubt in your minds. But I'm telling you guys, I don't know, listen to the story and tell me what you think. Okay, so this is what happened. This is like 10, 12 years ago. And we're on the beach in Grand Bend near Western University, near London, Ontario, Western University. And Western University, one of the biggest party schools in maybe the continent, maybe the world. Okay? That's a fact, guys. One of the hottest party schools in the world, okay? And me and my buddy, it was me and two other dudes. We're all brown. And this is at a time when Grand Bend, early days, it was pretty much only white back then. It was pretty much just white people. But you know what? Three dudes, we're brown, but we're born and raised here. We pay our taxes, and we want to be part of the culture. We want to be part of the community. We want to be here in the culture, in the community, right? So we're on the beach, and two of us, to be part of the community, we decided to be a couple of chatty Cathys and go chat up the neighborhood and just chat and just go walk down the beach and have little chats with people, old people, guys, girls, everyone. And then my other buddy, his way of being part of the community was he laid down and did some tanning, which is kind of weird for a brown person to do because most brown people are trying to be more white, which is another issue, shadeism. It's another issue that we'll get into in another episode. But interestingly, he decided that he wanted to lie down in the sun. But me and the other dude, we thought, you know what? Let's be a couple of chatty cat. Let's be part of the culture. Let's be part of the community. And let's be a couple of chatty Cathys here. And that's what I like to do. Even in Toronto, man, I do it all the time. If I'm standing at a light, I'll say, hi, hey, how you doing? Hey, how are you? That's the kind of chatty Cathy I am. Even the other day, I'll tell you this. The other day I was in line at Shamzeen, which is a Middle Eastern place at St. Clair and Bathurst. Incredible food. And every time I'm in line there, if whoever's in line, I'm just like, thank God these guys opened up here, right? And no matter who's in line, they're like, yep, I'm with you. Amen. You know what I mean? And then even the guys there, I'm like, brother, God is great. And they're like, God is great, man. God is great. We have a little chat like that. Anyway, so even there, even at Shamzeen, like a couple weeks ago, I was in line, and there's like a 95-year-old woman behind me, and I was like, it's great food, right? Good thing they opened up here because there was not a lot of food options in the neighborhood before them. And then the old lady goes, the lady was like, I'm 95 years old, and I'm gonna eat the whole thing. I'm gonna eat all of it. Which is so cute because she was a tiny 95-year-old woman, and they give a lot of food. A lot of food, dude. and she got extra potatoes, and I was kind of thinking, like, are you even allowed to eat potatoes still at 95? But then you think about it, and just go to a McDonald's, dude. McDonald's breakfast, that's like 70% seniors, right? What's with these seniors, dude? They're eating garbage, right? They don't give a shit. I guess they don't give a fuck, basically. If you're a senior, you're eating McDonald's, you're going to get those potatoes, dude. I mean, what? Who do I got to look hot for? I mean, no matter what they do at 95, like, they're just, they're like, fuck it, I guess, right? Anyway, she was sweet. I sat with her when she got the 95-year-old woman. I sat with her. Because that's the kind of chatty Cathy I am. And that's the kind of chatty Cathy that I was being at Grand Bend 10, 15 years ago. And so first we talked to an old lady. Not that old. Maybe she was like 60s, 70s. And she was very fun. She was a fun little chat. We had a fun little chat with her. And then we talked to this couple, and we played Frisbee with the couple. Because, again, we want to be part of the culture. We want to be part of the community. So we were doing a little Frisbee back and forth. And, and I was just talking to, I think it was a guy and a girl. And I don't know if they were on a date, but I was standing with the girl, and then my buddy was standing with the dude, and then we would chat and just casually throw a Frisbee, and then they would have a chat, and then casually throw a Frisbee, and it was a cute little chatty Cathy time. That's all it was. It was just a cute little chatty Cathy time. Nothing, no funny business. Nothing crazy, right? It was just a cute little. Listen, if I could come up with, like, that's basically my game, quote unquote. That's what I do. I just go into the culture and I act like a little chatty Cathy, and I talk to everyone. And every now and then, someone says, "Hey." Every now and then, the Lord sends me a little gift. Every now and then, I act like a chatty Cathy, and every now and then, I get to say, "Oh, God is great. God is great." So anyway, we talked to the old lady. We played Frisbee with this couple. This is like 40, 45 minutes, right? And then we kept walking, and then we found these two I'm going to say stunning young ladies. Beautiful young ladies, just doing a little sunbathe. And, and we're being our chatty Cathy selves. So we started up a little chatty Cathy chit-chat with these two girls. And let's just say it was the kind of conversation. We were having a little. It was getting beyond the chattiness and the chatty Cathiness. We're getting beyond into a little flirty territory. The kind of little chit chat that makes you say, God is great. Maybe God is great. I don't know. God may be great. It was one of those times, but nothing crazy. But we're gentlemen. We're good dudes. We're not creeping on them or anything. But they insisted that we get our cell phones and we take down their information because they were having a little house party at Western University, the biggest party university in the country. They were like, take down our information. We're throwing a party. You guys got to come. They were very excited about us coming to their party. They were very excited about us coming to the party. Okay, let's just say that. So then me and my buddy, we're trying to play it cool, but we left our cell phones with our dude. Now, look, part of me wanted to run back to get the cell phones. And this is early cell phone days. So today, you know how today, like, every other person you meet, their screen is cracked? And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at people right now. If your screen's cracked, I'm like, someone, there's like 4 blood diamonds in this phone. Can you like have a little respect? It's like someone almost committed suicide making this phone. Can you just have a little respect? Get a screensaver. You can go to Chinatown, and for $5, I'm going to put a screensaver on. No bubbles screensaver. So I'm going to put it on your phone for $5, and you had to crack your screen and there's 7 blood diamonds in there, and 2 people almost committed suicide making the cell phone, and you got to crack your goddamn screen. But anyway, that's how people are now. Back then, it was like I said, 10, 12 years ago. Back then, we put the cell phones in the Ziploc bag, and then we wrapped it in a T-shirt, and then hid it under a towel, and then we really like buried it. Like we dug into this. We hid the phones because it was early days in cell phone days, man. It wasn't like today where you just crack your goddamn cell phone for no reason. It was early days in the cell phone game, right? So anyway, we got our cell phones, and as we got we're so excited, by the way. We were so excited. We were in a very God is great kind of mentality. We were very much like oh my God, God is great, God is great. Very excited. You know what I'm saying? But we had to play it cool. So even the whole time walking back, we were kind of speed walking back to the cell phones. We had to do a speed walk back. We were doing like a little speed walk. Yeah, we were. I never understood how to speed walk until that moment. And that moment, we were like, okay, don't run, dude. Don't run, dude. Don't run, dude. Don't be obvious, dude. Don't run, dude. Don't run, dude. Play it cool, dude. Play it cool, dude. And we're walking, and somehow with the excitement, and maybe the Lord put a little spring in our steps, but we walked back like we were speed walking. We speed walked back because you can't run too obvious, too desperate, but we speed walked back. And that was probably the best we could do. We couldn't go any slower than that. We're definitely not sauntering. That's for damn sure in a situation like that, because our buddy was like, we're talking about 30, 40 meters away, dude. So we're not going to just casual saunter, because the girls told us they wanted to leave too. They told us they wanted to go back. They were leaving soon. So like, get your cell phones. We got this party, whatever, right? So anyway, we get back, get our cell phones out. We look back. And there's the auntie. We look back. What do we see? Auntie, dude. Why is this auntie talking to them? But no, listen, we're very open-minded, and we're out there being part of the culture, being part of the community. Maybe this auntie that we don't even know her, but and she had 2 kids too. So I don't know what. Like, it was weird, man. We're talking to these 2 young university girls. How do they even know this auntie, dude? The girls weren't even brown, dude. Something's fishy. We already knew. We look back, we're like, what's going on here? Why is this auntie talking to them for, right? So anyway, we get our cell phones. We're like, okay, whatever, that's weird. Our buddy wants to come with us at this point. We're like, idiot, no. We're not going to go back. You might not even be able to come to the house party, idiot. We're going to go back, just the 2 of us, get the contact. Then we're going to text them like, oh, hey, one of our buddies wants to come. Is that cool? And then we'll bring you, fine, but don't show up now. We're trying to play it cool. Also, something very fishy about this auntie. I don't know what it is, but I got a feeling in my gut. I got a feeling in my heart, in my gut. So I don't know. Something fishy about this auntie, right? And unfortunately, it turns out my instincts are correct, because we get back to the girls, and we're trying not to walk too fast, but we're trying to get over there as quickly as possible, because they're packing up to go. They told us they were leaving, and so they packed up and they were waiting for us. The girls were waiting for us, and the auntie had already left. So the auntie's talking to them. She left. We're walking back. The girls are there, packed up, waiting for us. And we're like, hey, what's up, ladies? Pumped about this party. It's going to be sick. We'll bring food, whatever. Like, we're trying to, we know something happened, and the mood's changed, let's just say. And so these 2 girls were like, hey, basically were like, hey, so you know what? That Indian lady just came and told us that you've been picking up girls here all day, and we just don't feel comfortable with you coming to the party, actually. And it was nice talking to you, but we just don't feel comfortable. And cool, whatever. And they're like, we just don't feel comfortable. So sorry, but we just don't. Sorry, but she told us, like, you guys were maybe hitting on some other people too, and she kind of said that maybe you weren't, like, she said that you weren't good guy, like that she was watching you and that you weren't good guys, and that maybe I just don't feel comfortable now, basically. Wow, dude. Auntie, dude. Fucking auntie, dude. You're gonna why? Why, auntie? I was so mad, dude. We don't even know this woman. We literally talked to one old lady, one couple, and then we met these 2 girls. And this auntie, dude. And just think of the gold mine we might have met. I mean, at that point, what are we going to say to these girls? These girls are leaving. They're like, hey, it was great. They even said, great talking to you guys. You guys seem like really cool, but, that lady told us, that we shouldn't. And here's the worst part. The lady shamed them out of it. Like, she kind of shamed them. And they were both, the girls were, like, they waited for us to come back. And then while they're telling us this, they're kind of scared themselves and looking over at the auntie. And they're looking over at her. So the auntie told them, don't do it. But also maybe put a little fear in them, put a little shame in them, maybe. So these two girls were like, "Hey, we're sorry. Like we, like you guys were. It seemed really cool, and like, and you guys seem like super cool, and like, but we're just gonna like take back our invitation because I don't know if we feel comfortable after what the lady told us." And then we looked up at the lady, and the lady looked back at us like, "What?" Dude, she was looking. She didn't even look at the girls at that point. At that point, the girls were walking away, and then the auntie just looked at us like, "What? What? You wanna come have a talk with me? I'll tell the whole beach. I'll call your mom, dudes. I'll call your mom, dude." It was so rude what she did. I can't believe she did that to us, dude. And I remember the first girl I dated. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I remember the first girl I think I mentioned it at Tamara's show. Like I kind of tried this out as stand up, just because I tried it out tonight on stage, and it got a laugh. But I remember when I was like 21, 22 years old, I was with my first girlfriend at the time, and this old Indian man who knows my mom, he saw me walking down the street with her, and he ran up to me, grabbed my arm hard, and he's like, "Amish, your mom know? Huh? Your mom know?" Like he got in my face like that, dude. Anyway, there's not a lot of points. I'm all about multiculturalism, and I'm very pro immigration. But in that moment, dude, when those two girls were walking away from us, and we looked up at the auntie, and the auntie was like, "What? What are you gonna do, dude?" Like she's looking at us like, "What? What?" Hard, man. She's looking at us like, "You think I'm scared of you, motherfucker? Yeah, let's have a chit chat. Let's come. You want to talk to me? You want to have a little chit chat with me? You want to be a couple of chatty Cathys with me? Let's go." She's looking at us like that. Man, I wanted to give her so much shit. I was very sad, man. I was very lonely at the time. I was very sad. I was so excited that we met these two people because, I really do think, and I was kind of talking about this earlier, and this kind of is the mandate of the Amish Patel Comedy Corporation. I don't believe in being offensive with my comedy. And there's a lot of people that are like, "Why don't you be more offensive?" And then like, what? We need to bring the culture together, God damn it. There's enough of these people trying to make fights and trying to be like, "Oh, those guys said this and those guys said this." How about, why aren't we banging each other more, dude? How about we bang each other more, dude? I think the Lord has installed within us all an automatic a stress reliever. I think the Lord has put into us all something that can bring the people together, bring the culture together. And I think that is love, and sex even, and is part of that. But love, man, because I remember I was watching the screenwriting seminar, because I write. I'm a writer too. No big deal. But I watch these screenwriting seminars. I mean, I've never paid for a writing class, but I'll watch a bunch of screenwriting seminars on YouTube, because you can just watch free classes on YouTube. Dude, there's people that just put their whole entire class for free. So I was watching this writing seminar called The Hero's Two Journeys, and it's basically like the outer journey, which is like the hero's journey that everyone knows about, and then there's like the hero's inner journey, and that was like the second hour of the lecture, and at one point someone asked the teacher, "How do you write characters that are in love?" And the teacher said, the way to write good characters that are in love is that you have to take two people who are bad on paper, but they're good on a deeper level. You know what I'm saying? They see something on the inside of the other person, and that's what attracts them. It's not the similarities. It's not the, you've checked off the things that matter in the real world, let's say. It's I see something deeper in you, and a lot of times it's I see something different. I see something that might be seen as a vulnerability. A lot of people say that it's vulnerabilities that make us fall in love. That if you just keep telling people how great you are, nobody's really gonna like you. Like people will like you, whatever. But the vulnerabilities our differences kind of have an effect on us, where true love, like true romantic love, and that kind of passionate love, it doesn't always happen when you're perfect arranged marriage material. Sometimes it's one culture reaching out to another culture. Sometimes it's a Romeo. He was basically saying it's always a Romeo and Juliet situation. It's always a Romeo. Basically all love. In screenwriting, and he was saying in real life too, it's a Romeo and Juliet situation. And it's important. And he was even, I don't know if he was saying this or maybe I saw it somewhere else, but I was, or maybe I just was thinking about it myself, but I just feel like maybe that's the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Because I say God is great a lot. I like saying God is great. And actually, everyone loves saying God is great. Try it. People have been saying it a lot. Every time I say it, especially a lot of white people, a lot of atheists, like downtown white people, a lot of them even, like I'll be like, brother, God is great, no? And they'll be like, God is great. They love saying it. And this is what I mean when I say God is great. This is what I mean, people. You know, two people from different cultures can fall in love. Two people, like these Romeo and Juliet situations, the fact that makes people fall in love, to me, that's the Lord doing the Lord's magic, isn't it? And when we get these aunties coming in, blocking these cocks, what kind of culture is this, you know? And I was very upset when she did that. I'm still talking about that, by the way. I know I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I'm still talking about that. I was so sad when that happened. I got a little racist for a second. I got a little bit, like in that moment, if someone came and said, maybe, you know, let's shut down immigration, fuck these immigrants, I might have been like, yeah, what the fuck, man? Enough, dude. Enough of these immigrants, man. I'm done with these immigrants. I was so upset, man. These girls were so hot, too. And just think, you know, I'm not even the kind of guy that's like, oh, if I meet these girls and then I go to their house and then they don't, it's not like, let's just say, these two girls, we go to their house and they're not into us like that. Let's just say, I'm not even the kind of guy that's like, oh, screw you. I'm the kind of guy that's like, we have a house. They have a party house at Western. You know, and I just wanted to go up to that auntie and be like, hey, auntie, this is a free, I was born and raised here. I pay my taxes. I'm allowed to be part of the culture. I'm allowed to be part of the community, auntie. You know, and by the way, if the Lord wanted me to get married and have kids when I'm 20, the Lord would have left me in India. I'm here, baby. I get to be white too, goddammit. What the fuck is this shit, dude? I wanted to go up to her and say all of that. I wanted to be like, what is your goddamn problem, lady? How could you do this? How could you do this to someone? You know, and we're looking at, and we looked at her with that intention, and then she looked back at us like, what? What are you gonna do? She looked at us like that, dude. She looked at us like, what are you gonna do about it? You wanna get this? You wanna come and have a chit chat? I see you chit chatting all up and down the beach. You wanna come have a chit chat with auntie, motherfucker? You wanna come have a chit chat with this auntie, little bitch? I'll call your moms right now. And the thing is, my mom wouldn't have even gotten mad. Dude, I was in my 20s, man. Very sad. Just, you know, it is what it is, and I'm going to let it go now. I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to leave it, and I'm just going to double check if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about on this subject matter. Oh, yeah, definitely it was interesting because sometimes someone can just give you a look, and she just gave us a look like, she was doing some auntie hand gestures like this too. Dude, I swear to God, I don't know if I'm maybe remembering this incorrectly, but I feel like she was talking to some other people, and maybe she was just spreading the word around the whole beach that these two boys are trouble, you know? Anyway, it just put me into kind of a negative space after that. You know, I didn't really, I was kind of bummed out after that. I didn't really holler for a minute. I didn't really holler for a minute, and it wasn't until it was a good, couple of months later, not 6 maybe, but it was a good couple of months later, and we were in a cab in Toronto. This is back in Toronto, and we're in a cab in Toronto, and we're driving to a bar, to a club actually, like a dancey club, bullshit, it used to be Richmond Street, but like basically King Street West kind of club in Toronto. And I'm in the cab with a couple of brown dudes, and they all act like thugs, back then. And all these brown guys acted like thugs, and they all acted like, yo, let's go get girls, let's go pick up, guy, let's go get girls, guy, let's go pick up, dude. And they always talk like that, and I was always like, I don't know. After that Aunty situation, I was a little bit discouraged, And also, all these dudes who keep saying, let's go pick up, they don't even do anything. They just stand against the wall. They get a drink, they stand against the wall, and they just stare at people. That's, it's all talk, And I'm always like, okay, look, let's go. Let's do our best. Let's try. And I always remember that I always tried. I always made an effort to in a nice way, in a polite way. I always made an effort to reach out to the community. I was always that kind of guy. But I remember a lot of these dudes, they talked a good game, then they got to the club and they just stood against the wall. You know what I'm saying? And I was feeling a little discouraged too at that point because of what this Aunty did, right? But then so we're in this cab and my buddies are talking this shit, like we're gonna pick up, we're gonna do this and that. And I'm sitting there like, okay, well, we can try our best. It hasn't really worked out. And the cab driver, dude, the cab driver gave me a good little pump up, dude. The cab driver said, "Brezer, brezer, brezer," and he was saying brother like brezer, brezer. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this website called Brazzers.com. It's called Brazzers.com because it's a adult entertainment site, a pornography site. But it started. But the reason why it's called Brazzers is because it started by these two Middle Eastern dudes, and the way that they grew up with a bunch of people saying a brazzer, a brazzer, a brazzer, and so that's why they call it Brazzers.com. I know that because I know a bunch of people who used to work there as editors. So anyway, we're in this cab, and I guess I'm being a little negative. I'm being a little bit of a negative Nelly there, a little negative Nancy there, and I'm kind of saying, you know what, man. What's the point? Some Aunty might show up in the club and just cock block it out, dude. And also, all of my boys, like half of them didn't even do anything. So, they're talking all this game, like, let's go pick up. And I'm sitting there being a negative Nelly and negative Nancy over there, just being like, well, we can try, but, it hasn't worked out. And I'm being called kind of like that, right? But then this cab driver said, a brezer, a brezer, a brezer. We are a free people, brother. We have to go in community and make one girlfriend. Please, brother. That's how God make it. He was really giving it to me, man. He got into a bit of a speech, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said something. It was something like that. It was something like, brother, brother, we are prisoner in Shah Mubarak jail, brother. We are a prisoner in Shah Mubarak jail. No, we are free people, brother. We are a free people. We come here, we are free people, we can be part of culture, part of community, and make one girlfriend. Don't worry, this is God. That's how God make it, brother. Go and say hi, hello, and to make one girlfriend, brother. And he really jacked me up, man. He really jacked me up, dude. And he said, get out there and fucking get that. Go get it, son. You know what I'm saying? It was an old Middle Eastern man that was just driving a cab around, but he really wanted to be like, brother, what, we are prisoner? We are free people, brother. We are free people, brother. We're not sitting prisoner in some shamubar. People are in jail. People are in jail, brother. People are in jail, brother. And you are here, free people, and still you don't make girlfriend? What kind of culture is this? No, you have to go. That's how God make it, brother. That's how God make it. I think that's a good point. I think that's a good place to end this episode on. I think that's a good place and a beautiful message to end this message on. And look, I don't want to. Don't take it so literally. That goes for anyone. Maybe if you're You know, if you're a girl, he would have said you have to make one boyfriend. If you're gay, he would have said make one boyfriend. You know, whatever your thing is. You know, I'm very supportive of the LGBTQ community, the non-gender binary, the trans community. Quite frankly, and you know, you could just, he was saying it like that to us, not because he was trying to reinforce some old gender stereotypes, but he was saying it like that to us because that's what we were talking about. But the point of the message of the story is, the moral of the story is, we're here, we're free people, we're in a culture, we're in a community, let's say hi to each other. Is it so wrong? What's all this? Cock blocking and the negativity, why? The Lord made us to be here together and to say what's up, dude, and dudettes, and, you know, however you identify. So, you know, holler, be part of the community. And I think that is a beautiful message to end on. I think that's a great message to end on. So I'm going to call it there. And again, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you've been watching this long, you're obviously in love with me a little bit, you know, on some level. You know, you're not in love like romantically, but maybe you just, you know, you think I'm fantastic, you think I'm hilarious, at least. So make sure you share the video, because we need more followers here. You know, we need to bring the laughs up in the culture and in the community, and that's not possible if only like 5 of you guys are watching. So make sure, if only 5 people are watching, it's not possible. So make sure you share this with more people, especially if you know someone in the media, someone who has a big following. Get it out to them. Go to laughsarup.com. Support, you know, join the mailing list so you know exactly when new episodes are coming up. And go to patreon.com/laughsarup. And you'll see that there's some great benefits for investors. If you go to patreon.com/laughsarup, you'll see there's some fantastic benefits if you decide to invest in these laughs. The benefits are incredible, and we would love to. We're always looking for new investors, and if you can't do that right now, that's fine too. Make sure you join the mailing list so you get the new words on what's coming out and when the live shows are. And come to a live show. Honestly, we've got some banger live shows in this city. A lot of live shows in this city, and there's so much fun, and there's so many great comics here. And if you come out to one of my shows, you'll see them, and there's going to be a link to that wherever you're watching this, and a link to all that other stuff that I just mentioned will be in the description of wherever you're listening to this or watching this. So I just want to say thank you guys so much again for being here. I love you, and God is great. God is great.